In my many years of teaching piano in Canada and the States and then also in Germany, I came to the conclusion that most of my students would never find a place in stardom or in the concert halls. Most of them wanted to be able to play solos, accompany, and improvise in a free, artistic, ear-grabbing style. Eventually, I concentrated on teaching classical background church pianists the art of improvising, and my students' enthusiasm and quick progress were rewarding for them and for me. Nothing against the technical foundation of mastering the classics. My most successful students read notes well and played classical pieces, but were bound to the notes. What for them was most enjoyable, what enabled them to explore unlimited personal artistic expression, and what was useful for the rest of their lives was the course in improvising. Someone encouraged me, several people encouraged me to write down what I had been teaching. And so, as a result of my years of experience and a book in German, now is the book You Can Improvise in English. The title under the title is A Church Pianist's Guide to the Art of Reading Between the Notes. Now, the foundation of improvising, the way I teach it, is that a person really knows the chords. And I have written down some interesting, fun ways of mastering the chords. For instance, you probably play well in C and G and F. But if you want to be able to find any chord at any time, then you need to know all of them. So here's a good way to learn all the major chords. If you learn that exercise, you know all 12 of the major triads. So then you learn the minor triads, the triads with suspension, SUS, and the dominant seventh chords, the minor seventh chords, major seventh chords. And one chord that I really enjoy teaching is the diminished, full diminished seventh chord, because it's difficult for most people, and they don't realize it's one of the most simple chords. I'll just go through what I've written down here about the diminished seventh chord. The diminished seventh chord, the intervals are always the same, always minor thirds in every key, in root position and in the inversions. When you play the C diminished, the C sharp diminished, and the D diminished, played all the possible diminished seventh chords, because the further chords are then inversions of the first three chords. According to the sound, there are only three different diminished chords: C, C sharp, and D. Diminished sevenths are indefinite in sound as far as what key is being played and resolve in several directions, so they are useful in modulating into a new key. For instance, a B diminished can resolve into a C minor, and a B diminished can resolve into a G7, and a B diminished can resolve into a F7, so it can be used in modulations. The diminished chords are very easy to find and to build, because if you play any note, then you leave out two, and then the next note you play, leave out two, play, leave out two, play. And that is the C diminished. You can choose any note, play a note, leave out two, and then that's the next note, leave out two, play, leave out two, play. F sharp diminished. So they're very easy to find. And then in the book you will find 11 progressive steps on how to improvise, starting very simply and progressing to rather advanced. And at the end of the 11 steps, there are 36 left-hand ideas. How can you accompany with your left hand? I said that the book was mainly for people who already read notes, but I did have one encouraging experience. In a short-term Bible school, there was a student, a fellow about 20 years old, who wanted to be able to play for his worship band or play for the choir. And he played a little bit of guitar, but he didn't play piano at all. So we started with the course, and he learned the chords. And in 3 months' time, he was able to accompany the choir using a chord chart. Now, a chord chart is something that many musicians, studio pianists use. They don't have notes written out. They just come with a chord chart, and they can make a beautiful accompaniment using their imagination. Here's a chord chart, and you wonder, where did they get all those notes if that's all that's written for them? Here in page 28, I have written, if the singers or instrumentalists don't need the support of the accompanist playing the melody, it is better to freely improvise according to the guitar chords and not even play the melody. And in the book, there are 16 different accompaniment ideas and 47 different licks or transitions. Now, my daughter Carmen is going to play the flute, and I will accompany her with 6 or 8 of the different ideas, accompanying ideas, and at the end of each line, we'll put in one of the licks that you will find in the book. A slow style. Even slower, peaceful. That was one ending. Now I'm going to play 2 other endings. Or another one. In the book there are 18 copyrighted songs, but I can't use them, of course, on this video for obvious reasons, but I'm going to play a non-copyrighted song to close now.